Hello, dear second year students. Welcome to English Classroom. This is S. Leacock, Assistant Professor of English. Today, we'll take up one important and very interesting short stories from our second year, third semester syllabus. Are you all ready to listen to this story? Right. Let's get started. So, our story is with the photographer. With the photographer. The story is written by a famous author and a humorist, Stephen Leacock. This is the picture of Stephen Leacock. He was a Canadian professor of economics, but he was born in England. His lifespan is from, one second, his lifespan is from 1869 to 1944. He was born in the same year as our uh, father of nation, Gandhiji, was born. Yes. So he was born in England and got educated in Canada. So was one of the best known humorists in English literature. His writings are known for humor. Subtle humor will be there. It's not exactly the a joke, but subtle humor. When you read the sentences, you get laughter within yourself. It's not outright, comedy, but it is subtle humor, a gentle humor. So he wrote number of articles in a literary magazine called Literary Lapses. And with this present piece, this short story is taken from Behind the Beyond. It's an extract from Behind the Beyond. Okay, shall we go and see the story? Shall we begin the story now? Yes. Yes. Can you see the story? Yes. With the photographer Stephen Leacock. So here is the story. I want my photograph taken, I said. So one day, our author or the narrator went to a photo studio in order to take his photograph. Generally, we go to photographs in order to take our passports or full-length photos to include in our portfolio, like that. So one day, he went to a photo studio for his photo to be taken. So I want my photograph taken, he said. The photographer looked at me without enthusiasm. Okay, he was inside the inside room of the photo studio. He didn't. He looked at him without any enthusiasm, without any curiosity. Generally, when we enter a photo studio, they invite us with some kind of, they give some kind of respect to the customers. But here, he was not the case. He was a drooping man in a grey suit with the dim eye of a natural scientist. But there is no need to describe him. What is the demeanor, outward appearance? He was like a drooping man, was tall and drooping, bending a little bit, and he has a natural air of a scientist. Scientist, he was a little bit like a scientist, okay, wearing spectacles, etc. But no need to describe the physical appearance of the photographer now. We go into the story. What happened? What is his experience with the photographer? Whether he could take his photograph, whether his photograph was taken by the photographer, what happens? We'll see. But there is no need to describe him. Everybody knows what a photographer is like. We all know what a photographer can be. He might look like a gentleman, he might look like an ordinary man. You need not describe him. So sit there, I said, and wait. Sit there. Generally, photographers are any shopkeeper, any shopkeeper gives us respect and welcomes us with, you know, courtesy. But here, sit there and wait. Simply sit there and wait. Some kind of instruction. I waited an hour. I read the ladies' companion for 1912, the girls' magazine for 1902, and the Infant Journal for 1818. So I went on glancing through certain magazines, some magazines that are lying over there. Ladies Companion, Girls Magazine, Infants Journal. I glanced at so many pages uh, through those magazines because he waited for an hour. It's a very, very long time. I began to see that I had done an unwarrantable thing uh, in breaking in on the privacy of this man's scientific pursuits with a face like mine. After waiting for 1 hour, he got it. Doubts in his mind. I might have disturbed his privacy. My entry into the photo studio may be unwarranted, not advisable. He's not inviting any, customers into the studio. Okay, he began getting doubts in his mind. After an hour, after an hour, the photographer opened the inner door. At last, the photographer opened the door, and what did he do? Come in, he said severely. Come in. Severely means some kind of, anger, seriousness. I went into the studio. He went into the inside compartment. Our author went into the studio. Sit down, said the photographer. Okay. He was speaking very seriously. Sit down. I sat down in a beam of sunlight filtered through a sheet of factory cotton hung against a frosted skylight. Okay. Sunlight was falling from the window, and okay, a sheet of factory cotton hung against a frosted skylight. Okay, there was cotton, no, curtains were hung to the windows, and it was sunlight was falling. So he sat, okay, on his on a chair. The photographer rolled a machine into the middle of the room and crawled into it from behind. So he crawled a machine, big machine. It may be a tripod, okay, and crawled into it and tried to focus the lens onto the face of the author. So he was only in it a second, just time enough for one look at me, and then he was out again, staring at the cotton sheet and the window panes with a hooked stick, apparently frantic for light and air. He was just there inside that machine, looking through the lens for a second and immediately came out, and he appeared as if he was, you know, apparently he was frantic for light and air. Okay, he was feeling suffocation, and immediately using a long stick, opened the curtains and opened the windows, and he went on to do his business again. Then he crawled back into the machine again and drew a little bag, little black cloth over himself. This time he was very quiet in there. I knew that he was praying, and I kept still. This time it took a longer time looking at his face, and by pulling a black cloth on his face in order to focus on his face without any light falling on him. In order to observe clearly, he pulled a black cloth on his face and it went on observing. This time it took a little longer time, and our author thought that he was praying inside. When the photographer came out at last, he looked very grave and shook his head. Finally came out, and how did he look? How did he look like? He was very serious and grave. So he remarked like this: the face is quite wrong, he said. Your face is quite wrong, son. There is something wrong with there is a defect with your face. I know, I answered quietly. I have always known it. Yes, I know. I have some defects in my face and head. So our author accepted. He sighed. He sighed. I think he said the face would be better three-quarters full. He sighed and said, finally made a remark that your face is too large. It would be better if it had been three-quarters full only. If it had been three-fourths of the actual head you have, that would have been better. Your head is little more to the extent of a quarter. Okay, it would have been better if it had been only three-quarters, three-fourths of what it is now. So your face is quite large. I'm sure it would. Yes, Author responded, I'm sure it would have been better, really. I also agree with you. I said enthusiastically, for I was glad to find that the man had such a human side to him. So would yours, in fact. So our author thought that this photographer has human side to him. He was also giving some suggestions. He was sympathetic towards the physical, features of the author. So our author understood the photographer in a different way. But he will, little while from now, he will, know the true colors of the photographer. What are his real intentions. So would yours. So our author also commented, so would yours. Your face is also a little bit larger. It would have been better if it had been three-fourths only. I continued, how many faces one sees that are apparently hard, narrow, limited, but the minute you get them three-quarters full, they get wide, large, almost boundless. And our author went on speaking. We see so many faces, but they'll be sometimes hard and narrow and limited. But once they are through three-quarters full, they would get larger. Most of the faces, head heads are larger than they should be. They ought to be in order to look nice, look decent. So like that. But the photographer had ceased to listen. Okay, as the as our author went on speaking, he was not listening. He ceased to listen, stopped to listen. He came over and took my head in his hands and twisted it sideways. So I came to him. It touched his head and twisted towards his side. I thought he meant to kiss me, and I closed my eyes. I thought our author had thought something else because he was close to his face. Our author thought that he was trying to kiss him, and our author closed his eyes. This is the humor our author is using. But I was wrong, but he was not trying to kiss him. He twisted my face as far as it would go and then stood looking at it. He twisted it as far as it would go, totally more than 60 degrees as far as it would go. Okay, beyond that, it won't go. His side again, his side. I don't like the head, he said. Once again, he said, I don't like the head. Then he went back to the machine and took another look and went back to the machine camera and looked from inside. Open the mouth a little, he said. He went on giving instructions. Open the mouth. I started to do so. Open the mouth like this. Close it, he added quickly. Immediately said, close it. Then our author closed his mouth, then looked again, once again. He looked at his face seriously through the lens. The ears are bad, he said. Droop them a little more. Thank you. Now he commented, gave instructions about his ears. The ears, okay, they are too bad. Droop them a little. Can we droop? Can we bend our ears? No, we can't do. The author tried to do that by some way or the others, by hook or by crook. And then the author said, thank you. The other thanked him. Now the eyes, roll them under the lids. Put the hands on the knees, please, and turn the face just a little upward. He went on giving instruction. Now the little, okay, roll the eyes under the lids, just like, okay, look upwards. Put the hands on the knees like that. Please turn the face just a little upward. Okay, just raise the head. Yes, that's better. Now just expand the lungs, expand your chest. So, and hum the neck, little bit bend the neck, that's it. And just contract the face, and twist the hip up toward the elbow now. Okay, he went on giving instructions in order to contract like contracting the face, okay, raising his waist and twist the hip up like that, sit straight. Okay, the elbows now, elbows, keep the elbows straight like that. I still don't quite like the face. It's just a trifle too full, but once again he commented on the face. Still, even after making these adjustments and sitting straightly, okay, sitting and putting all the features, according to the instructions, still at the end of the instructions, the author said that still I don't like the face. It's just a little too full. It's too little too big. I swung myself around the stool. Now the author was unable to control his anger because already he sat in the studio for 1 hour, and after he began to take his photo, Again, he's making unnecessary comments which are not necessary to take a photograph. So he swung from the stool, just he swung across, swung from the stool. Stop, I said with emotion, but I think with dignity. A lot of emotion, he said, but still with dignity. He was still keeping his dignity. This face is my face, it's not yours, it's mine. I have lived with it for 40 years and I know it's false. This is my face, I have lived with it 40 years, I know its defects, I know it's out of drawing, it's a little too big. I know it wasn't made for me, but it's my face. I know it what okay, it's made for me. God has given me this face. I can't change it now, but it's my face, the only one I have. Only one face. I was conscious of a break in my voice, but I went on. There was a break in my voice. Okay, little bit of faintness in his voice, but he still went on. Okay, I was conscious of break in my voice, but I went on. Such as it is. Okay, I have this face which was given by God. I have learned to love it, and this is my mouth, not yours. These ears are mine, not yours. And your machine is too narrow. Here I started to rise from the seat. Okay, if your camera or machine is narrow to capture the features of my face, I don't want to take the photograph. Here I go. He tried to rise from his seat in order to go out because he was very angry. But at that time, precisely, the photographer clicked the camera. Snick. He took the photograph. At that time, when he was about to rise from his seat and go out, the photographer had pulled a string. Just pulled a string. On the old photo studios, they used to pull a string in order to take the picture. The photograph taken, I could see the machine still staggering from the shock. Okay, because it was pulled with little bit of force, the machine was moving, staggering with a shock. I think, said the photographer, pursing his lips in a pleased smile, that I caught the features just in a moment of animation. There was a feeling of sense of satisfaction on his face. I think I have taken the picture at the time of animation when the features are lively because he was angry and he was trying to get up, and the photographer thought that that is the right time to take the photograph, and he was satisfied that he took the photograph at the right time when the features are really animated. Oh, there is nothing to see yet. Okay, so I said bitingly, features, yeah, you didn't think I could animate them, I suppose, but let me see the pictures. Features, I didn't okay, animate the features. Anyway, you have taken the photograph, let me see the picture. Okay, so what did the author say? Oh, there is nothing to see yet. He said, I have to develop the negative first. Come back on Saturday and I will let you see a proof of it. So you can't see the picture right now. Generally, when you take a photograph with a cell phone or mobile phone, nowadays the technology is changed. Now we are in a digital age. When you go to the photograph also nowadays, immediately they will show you the photograph. But some 5 or 10 years before, they take the photograph first, they take out the negative reel from the camera, then develop it, and finally they will show you the picture. It takes about 3 or 4 days. So the the photographer said that you can't see it right now. You come on Saturday, then I will show the proof of it, not the original copy, not the final print. On Saturday, I went back. So went to the photograph. What happens then? The photographer beckoned me in. He called inside the photograph. The photographer called our author inside into the photo studio. I thought he seemed quieter and graver than before. Looked little more serious and little more silent and little more grave. Okay, there was no emotion, feel. Okay, emotions reflected on his face. I think too there was a certain pride in his manner, and a little bit of pride can be seen on his face. Okay, so how would be the photograph? He unfolded the proof of a large photograph, and we both looked at it in silence. He showed it finally, the copy, the negative, and we both looked at the negative, looked at the proof in silence. Okay, for a few seconds, Then our author asked, "Is it me?" "Yes," he said quietly, "it is you." And we went on looking at it. "It is you." But author could not believe that it was his photo. So author said, "The eyes," I said hesitatingly, "don't look very much like mine." "No, no, no, these eyes don't seem to be like mine. There is something wrong with the eyes. They don't appear to be mine." "Oh, no," he answered. "I have retouched them. They come out splendidly, don't they? I have a little bit retouched them with some chemical. So that's why now they appear to be splendid." But he forgot the fact that you should keep the original features of a person. You have no right to alter the features. But he said that because I don't like the eyes, I have retouched him. Now they appear to be splendid. Fine, I said. Fine, I said. But surely my eyebrows are not like that. But what about the eyebrows? They don't seem to be like mine. No, said the photographer with a momentary glance at my face. Just looked at the face of the author. The eyebrows are removed. We have a process now. The Delphied for putting the new ones. No, I have removed the eyebrows. In the final print, I will put them again with using some chemical called Delphied for putting in new ones. You will notice here where we have applied it to carry the hair away from the brow. I don't like the hair low on the skull. Some of the hair from the eyebrows is falling down, some is going up. So now we have removed. In the final print, we want to keep it once again. You will see that in the final print because I didn't like the hair falling on the skull. "Oh no, don't you can't do that. How can you do that? You can't change the original features of a person." "No," he went on, "I don't care for it. I don't care for it because I don't like that. I like to get the hair clear back to the superficies and make out a new eyebrow. I want to remove the total hair up to the skull and finally I put it, okay, the way I liked." Got my point? "What about the mouth?" I said with a bitterness that was lost on the photographer. "Is that mine?" And finally, he asked another question. "What about the mouth?" With a bitterness that was lost on the photographer. Okay. Already was very much convinced that he's not going to get a photograph that he wanted anymore. Okay, the mouth. What about the mouth? It doesn't look like mine. So what did the photographer say? It's adjusted a little, he said. "Yours is too low. I found I couldn't use it." "I have adjusted a little bit because you can't use it." Okay, in your original mouth, the original mouth seemed to be okay little low and you can't take fruit from your mouth. That's why I wanted to put it little up, okay, upwards in your mouth. So I have okay adjusted a little bit. Okay, yours is too low. I found I couldn't use it. If it were the mouth of mine, I couldn't use it. That's why I tried to push it upwards a little bit. "The ears, though," I said, "strike me as a good likeness. They are just like mine. But anyway, ears look like mine only." Okay, so they appear to be mine finally. "Is it me? It's me. Is it me?" "Yes," said the photographer thoughtfully. "That's so, but I can fix that all right in the print. We have a process now, the sulfide, for removing the ears entirely. I will see if..." So when author asked that, the ears appear exactly like mine. Then with a glance, the photographer said that, "Yes, yes, yes." We thoughtfully said that, "Yes, in the final print, I am going to alter the ears as well. Ears also. Now we have a chemical to remove ears, that is sulfide." So I'll see. You are still continuing to tell. The photographer is still continuing to tell. I will see if there is a chance. I'll okay try to alter the ears as well, which are not altered so far. So finally, author said, "Listen," I interrupted, drawing myself up and animating my features to their full extent and speaking with a withering scorn that should have blasted the man on the spot. With a lot of anger, he just got up from his seat and blasted, okay, on the photographer. He said, "Listen, I came here for a photograph, a picture, something which, mad though it seems, would have looked like me. Okay, my intention was to take a photograph, though it was bad. Okay, it would look very bad. Something which mad though it seems, would have looked like me. Although it might not appear decent, but it should look like me. I wanted something that would depict my face as heaven gave it to me. Humble though the gift may have been, I wanted something that my friends might keep after my death. Okay, I wanted something, a token of my features, and I want to keep, okay, keep it as a token to my friends after my death. One thing. Second thing, God has given a humble gift in the form of this face. I wanted to keep it. I wanted to enjoy it. I wanted to celebrate my face. Okay, it can't be altered, and I wanted to keep the photograph as as a symbol, as a token in my memory after my death. Okay, to reconcile them to my loss. Okay, when I am passed away, I want to leave this token of mine to my friends to compensate for my loss. It seems that I was mistaken, but my idea of taking a photograph was not served anymore. It was my mistake. That I wanted, what I wanted is no longer done. Okay, whatever I decide, whatever I wanted, what not done by you. My photograph is not at all taken. It's not my photograph. Okay, you have violated everything. You have defeated the very purpose of taking a photograph. And finally, go on then with your brutal work. Whatever you want to do, you can do it. Take your negative or whatever it is you call it, dip it in sulfide, bromide, oxide, cowhide, anything you like. Put it in any chemical you want. Remove the eyes, correct the mouth, adjust the face, restore the lips, reanimate the necktie, and reconstruct the waistcoat. Whatever you want to remove. Whatever you want to retouch or reconstruct and readjust, do it. Okay, restore the lips, reanimate the necktie, and reconstruct the waistcoat. Anything you want, you have full freedom. Go on doing. Coat it with an inch of gloss, shade it, emboss it, gild it till even you acknowledge that it is finished. Okay, till you are satisfied, go on doing. Coat it with gloss of chemical, shade it, emboss it. Okay, whatever you want to do, do it. Okay, till you are satisfied that you are finished, till you feel that you are finished, you have completed your work. Then when you have done all that, when you have completed your work, when you think that you have completed the final print of the photograph, keep it for yourself and your friends. Okay, keep it with you only and for your friends, not for me and my friends. It's for you and your friends. Okay, they may value it, they may value it. To me it is but a worthless bauble. Okay, they may value something because it's like an artwork for you. Okay, as if you are creating some object, you are not creating, you're just simply, you're supposed to take a photograph simply with a machine. Okay, whatever features the camera captures, that should be originally handed over to me, but what that was not done. You thought it, you made it to be a creative work. You can't create it, recreate it. You have to simply, okay, reflect the feature. The photograph should reflect the original features, but it is not a worthy thing to me. It is a worthless babble to me. Keep it with yourself. I broke into tears and left. Finally broke into tears and walked away, walked out of the photo studio. So the photographer was shocked. He thought it was an artwork. He tried to bring in so many changes in the photograph, but he was not supposed to do. That was the nightmarish experience of a photographer when he tried to take a photograph with a strange kind of photographer. Generally, we came across such photographers rarely. Okay, generally, photographers will be very friendly, very amiable, very respectable. They welcome us with lot of dignity, but here writer had a different experience. So a lot of humor in this. The way he narrated, the way he constructed the sentences in the story is really worth discussing. So this is a story by the photographer. The bitter experience with the photographer was narrated by the famous Canadian professor Stephen Leacock. Thank you for listening. If you like this video, share, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.